All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're diving into a story, man, that just might be straight out of the Bible, except it happened maybe a couple of months ago in Chile, and we've actually got video on it. So here's the story. There's this 23-year-old kayaker named Adrian, right? And he was paddling with his father out in Chile and Patagonia, and they were like just out there enjoying this beautiful scenery, out in the strait, when suddenly, and I swear I'm not making this up, a massive humpback whale surfaced directly beneath him, engulfed him and his kayak in its mouth, and then spit him back out a few seconds later. This isn't some kind of fisherman's tale. This isn't the fish was like this big kind of story. I mean, this actually happened, and we got it on video. So his father, he was filming from his own kayak, and he caught the whole thing, right? 1 second, Adrian, he's just paddling along. And the next thing that happens, he's inside this whale's mouth. And then he pops back out alive with one hell of a story to tell. Man, back in the day, man, my ancestors, they had to battle nature with nothing but grit and determination. Meanwhile, modern humans, we're getting swallowed by whales and living to post about it on social media. Tell you what, man, the times, they're definitely changing. They are definitely changing. So when he was asked about the experience, man, Adrian said, I thought I was dead. I thought it'd eaten me, that it swallowed me. He even said he started thinking about how he might survive inside the whale like Pinocchio. But then, just as quickly as it happened, the whale spit him back out. Now, before you start kind of questioning, whether it's even possible, let me tell you something interesting. According to wildlife experts, humpback whales actually have throats roughly the size of a fist, right? And they said it couldn't actually ingest the kayaker even if they wanted to. So I guess these massive creatures, they feed primarily like on small fish and krill, and their bodies are not designed to swallow something as large as, let's say, I don't know, a human, let alone in a kayak. So this whale, he basically got a mouthful of kayak, right? And he realized, nope, can't eat this, and spit this poor guy back out, man. I mean, imagine being a whale just trying to get some lunch, and suddenly you got this mouthful of a fiberglass and a terrified Venezuelan, right? And what fascinating about this story is how it connects to our oldest myths and stories. The tale of Jonah, the whale, thousands of years old, man. Pinocchio gets swallowed by a whale. And then you hear, as I remember growing up looking in books of the seafaring legends involving these giant, creatures swallowing men whole. And there's something primal about this fear, the idea of being consumed alive, of being inside the belly of the beast. And yet, here in 2025, it's actually happened to somebody. And the dude lived. That's crazy. Not only lived, but described the experience in detail. He said he felt a slimy texture inside the whale's mouth, and he saw colors like dark blue and white. Man, that's the kind of details, man, you can't make up. And you know what's even crazier? This is the first time it's ever happened. Back in 2020, a woman named Julia was knocked out of her kayak by a humpback whale off the coast of California. She too was briefly inside the whale's mouth. And then in 2021, there's this lobster diver named Michael. He spent about 40 seconds inside a humpback's mouth in Massachusetts. Now, if I was just pause here and let it run for 40 seconds, it'd get really uncomfortable. I can't imagine being in a whale's mouth. I mean, I'm starting to try to wonder, are whales trying to tell us something, like stay the hell out of my ocean? Probably not, but maybe it's like whaling. We're getting even, bitches. But there's something really profound about this encounter, right? For a brief moment, the boundary between our world and nature's, it collapsed just entirely. What do? We spend our lives building these walls, constructing these ships, or creating technology. Why do we do this? All keep the wild at bay. And then in an instant, the whale opened its mouth, and that separation, man, it vanished. Could be there's a lesson here for all of us. No matter how much we think we've conquered nature, no matter how secure we feel in our human bubble, we're still temporary visitors on this planet. Because why? The wild, man, it's always out there. It's just beneath the surface. It's ready to remind us that we're not as separate as we pretend to be. So next time you're out in nature, whether it's kayaking in the ocean or just walking through a park, kind of remember Adrian's story here, man, and his whale encounter. Remember that the line between our world and the wild, man, it's paper thin. Maybe that's not something to fear, but something to maybe perhaps appreciate. A reminder to kind of stay humble, man, stay alert, and occasionally stay the hell away from humpback whales. Jeez. And leave you with this. If you ever find yourself swallowed by a whale, man, I beg you, man, try to take mental notes because you're going to have one hell of a story to tell. That is, of course, you do make it back. All right, guys, that's all I got, man. So stay crazy, my friends. Stay crazy.